Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Module 1, Lesson 1, Exponential Notation. And what we want you to know by the end of this lesson is what it means for a number to be raised to a power and how to represent that number using repeated multiplication. Now, some things that you're probably going to see for the first time is the use of exponents with a negative based value. So it's really important that you understand the use of parentheses. So if you would go ahead and turn in your binders to the first exercise, we'll get started. So here we are at exercise 1, and it says 4 times 4, 7 times. Now we're going to use repeated multiplication in order to show this first, and the key right here is 7 times. Okay, so if we write this out using repeated multiplication, it looks like this. Now this might take you a second to actually write out, but it's going to benefit you in the long run once you get used to it. So using repeated multiplication, it should look like 4 times 4, 7 times. That's exactly what it says. Now we're going to convert this into exponential notation. Now in order to do that, we have our base of 4 because that's the number that we are multiplying right here 7 times, and since we are multiplying it 7 times, it is raised to the 7th power. Exercise 2, we're going to look at this just a little bit differently, and it's still the same basic concept, except they have already put it in exponential notation for us. And exponential notation reads 3 6/10 to the 47th power. Now I really do not want to write 3 6/10 times 3 6/10 47 times. So you still have the basic concept just like what we did up here in exercise 1, except all we're doing now is filling in this dash line right here. And so 3 6/10 times 3 6/10, how many times are we going to actually multiply that? You guessed it, 47 times. Now here in exercise 3, we actually get to use some negative numbers now, and this one reads negative 11 63/100 times negative 11 63/100. So this is where you need to be comfortable in using your parentheses, and we are actually going to multiply this 34 times. So if we write that out using exponential notation, you still need to start off with your parentheses, and we have negative 11 63/100 raised 34 times, so that is going to be to the 34th power. So taking a look at exercise 4, it looks a whole lot like exercise 2 in the fact that it already has the exponential notation for us, 12 to the 15th power. So all we really have to do is solve for this line right here, how many times 12 times 12 is being multiplied. So if we look at our exponential notation, our base is 12, and it is raised to the 15th power. That means that 12 times 12 is actually happening 15 times. Now, using our prior knowledge from exercise 3, we're going to take a look at exercise 5. They both seem to have negative numbers, and what we're going to do is multiply negative 5 times negative 5 10 times. So if we write that out in exponential notation, again, you need to start out with your parentheses and our base of negative 5, and we are multiplying that 10 times. So negative 5 raised to the 10th power. Now if we take a look at exercises 6 through 10, just a brief overview of them really quick. Now we get to start using some fractions. We still get some negative numbers, and now we're throwing in some variables as well. But based on what we did for exercises 1 through 5, it's still the same concepts. So if we look at exercise 6, we have 7 over 2 times 7 over 2, still 21 times. So our base here is 7 over 2. Now this is another place where we can actually use our parentheses. It would actually help out quite well. So if we have 7 over 2, how many times is that being multiplied together? 21 times, so we raise that to the 21st power. Exercise 7 reads negative 13 times negative 13 6 times. Now our base here would be negative 13. We still want to use our parentheses so we don't get anything mixed up, and it is being multiplied 6 times, so we raise that to the 6th power. Now looking at exercises 8, 9, and 10, If you need to, you can go ahead and pause the video, but we would like for you to work on exercises 8, 9, and 10 on your own. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We will be by shortly to help you with those. And also, whenever you have them completed, you can also raise your hand and we will come by and check those to make sure that they are correct. Now moving on to exercise 11, it reads, will these products be positive or negative, and how do you know? And if you look at them, it says -1 times -1 12 times. It already has it written in exponential form for you. But we want to know if the product will be positive or negative. Now the easy way to take a look at this is to look at the exponent itself, 12. Now some of you might say that it's going to be positive because there is a positive exponent, but that's not necessarily the case. The way that you know whether it is positive or negative is based off of this exponent right here. If it is an even number, then the outcome, the product, will be positive. Now if we look down here, -1 to the 13th power, 13 is a odd number. So in that case, once we multiply it out using exponential notation, then the product will actually come out to be a negative number. So in this first example right here, this will be positive, and in this second example it will be negative. We've worked several examples today. If you need help with any of those, you can refer back to those if need be, or you can raise your hand and we can help you with the issue. If you are confident in your abilities, you can pause the video and complete the problem set on page 4 in your binders. And again, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Also, whenever you have completed the problem set, let us know and we will come by and check those for accuracy. I hope that problem set wasn't too rough for you. I hope you got through it pretty easily. And I'm sure the question that you've asked this entire video is, why even bother with exponential notation? I've listed a couple of reasons below why you should bother with it, why it is important. Also wanted to remind you to bring your page 4 problem set to class tomorrow. We will check that for accuracy, and hope you guys have a good night.